Hello, this is Michael with Addiction Reality. Welcome to Relapse Prevention. First things first, thank you for choosing us. There are many options available for breaking addictions and getting sober, and we're very grateful that you've chosen ours. We hope that you find answers in this coursework that will be enough for you to stay sober for the rest of your life. Before we get started, please remember that this course is for educational purposes only and is not a replacement for professional mental health care. Also, in purchasing this program, you now have a license for personal use, but please remember not to replicate or distribute course content. In this video, we'll get started with the introduction and program summary. So let's go. Relapse prevention is for dealing with life no matter what happens. We use a lot of surfing imagery for this program because waves of the ocean are like the ups and downs of life. They're coming whether you want them or not, and being sober means that you know how to manage these ups and downs. We'll cover the different parts of the workbook in this video, but do read it for yourself. The only pages of the workbook that you'll need to print are the worksheets at the end of the document whenever you do an exercise. All right, with every addiction, there's using. And the using is an old strategy for answering problems. In addiction, you're having problems in the external world with a job or finances or family or other relationships. Instead of dealing with feelings of fear or frustration or anxiety, the answer of addiction is to use. You're also having problems in your inner world, possibly with some trauma, with your sense of self-worth or a place where you feel like you belong, or a sense of purpose to your life. Instead of facing feelings of being insignificant or alone or afraid or hurt, the answer is always to just use. If you're relapsing, it means that you haven't found a better way of answering your problems and you're reverting back to an old strategy of using. And today is the day that you'll begin to find new answers. If you've been to rehab, hopefully you've begun the work of breaking through the surface layers of your problems down to the deeper ones. A common outcome of rehab is that when you leave, you feel broken apart, like you're holding a bunch of pieces of yourself. And then you come home holding all these pieces and it's like, okay, now what? Any plan for breaking addiction and staying sober needs to include healing, rebuilding, and coping. Healing means that you accept the reality of the damage that you caused, that you claim responsibility for everything you broke, that you apologize for hurting others, that you forgive others for hurting you, that you identify the underlying reasons for using that are driving your addiction, and that you learn how to love yourself. Rebuilding means that you restore connections to your body, mind, heart, and soul in a balanced and powerful way by taking action. And coping means that no matter what happens in the ups and downs of life, you'll know what to do to face it. And the work of this program will give you opportunities to fit together all of these essential parts. This program begins with a basic review of addiction and the tricks it plays in your mind. We'll look at the difference between addict voice and reality voice, which are the different types of thoughts in your head, which both sound like your voice, but say very different things. If you're new to sobriety, you must know that abstinence from using is important right now. You need some distance from the old behaviors to get clarity on a new path. You must also know that not using is not enough. You need to understand the reasons why you use, instead of just white-knuckling it and gripping on its sobriety through sheer willpower, or substituting one type of using for another. In this program, you'll learn how to weaken old patterns and build new, stronger patterns by facing absolutely everything. The two central questions in this program are, what are you leaving behind, and what are you moving toward? Now, leaving behind does not suggest that you avoid and ignore. The exercises for leaving behind will teach you how to name the people, places, and things that are part of the old ways of addiction, the reasons why they cannot come with you now, why this matters, and how to deal with them when they come up. With abstinence, you can get some distance from using and from your old strategies and patterns. And as you heal and rebuild, you're resolving your old ways and old problems instead of white-knuckling and substituting. Relapse prevention gives you the power to face and then nullify, or literally cancel out a craving that comes up unexpectedly tomorrow or next month or even out of the blue 15 years from now. This is courage or power or inner knowing that says no matter how much life problems add up, deteriorate, or spiral out of control, you will find a way to face them with a better strategy than using. Moving toward is for getting clear on the people, places, and things that truly matter, why they're more important than anything else, and the actions you're taking to get closer to them, one little bit at a time. With these new strategies, we're calling up your mindset for true sobriety, where using is irrelevant. This is where you have the ability to answer any problem, and the old ways are so far away, so weak, and so unnecessary that using no longer makes any sense. You won't worry about clean time or counting days because your drive is pointed forward on the path ahead, on who you're becoming, and how far you can really go. As you complete these exercises and fill out your answers, you might find that the same person, place, or thing appears on your list for leaving behind and also appears on your list for moving toward. This is normal and is also an indicator of a deeper, more evolved way of thinking. Just as an example, you might have the same person on both lists with a plan for leaving behind an old way of interacting, like sarcasm or gossip with this person, and moving toward a better one, like sharing your actual thoughts and feelings, whether they reciprocate or not. Your ability to communicate will make you or break you. We can't emphasize this strongly enough. Addiction is about isolation and disconnection, where you keep all your thoughts and feelings inside, believing that you don't matter. And sobriety is about reconnecting and breaking those patterns. Now is the time to speak up and share with others what you're thinking, feeling, and doing, and invite people to share your experience of life. Reconnecting with others, with the world, and with a sense of purpose gives you the best possible chance of staying sober for the rest of your life. Speaking up for yourself, for others, and with others is how you'll change your life. It means that you believe your thoughts and feelings matter, and that you can have integrity, be accountable, and that you're choosing connection over being alone. The choice to communicate is available to you no matter who you are or where you are, no matter what moment or situation. Anyone can choose to speak up or stay silent. And this is from page 4 of the workbook. Know that in sobriety, in growth, or in personal transformation of any kind, there is no endpoint. There is no state to attain or place to arrive at where you finally turn around to reveal yourself and what you've become. The reality is that sobriety and change are happening in every moment of every day, in the path and the journey and the process of becoming. Include others with you now, today, and go together, instead of waiting until you reach an imagined state somewhere in the future where you finally give yourself permission to connect. If this is new to you, start small and build. You get to choose who to communicate with. It could be a peer, your sponsor, your wife or husband, a trusted friend, parents or siblings, your spiritual advisor, or your counselor. And you get to choose what to communicate about. What you think, what you feel, what you're learning, what's different, what matters to you, and what does not matter to you. As you follow through the workbook, there are communication cues after every exercise in this program, giving you that opportunity to connect. Remember that every time you choose to speak up, you're changing, you're sober, and addiction is left behind, getting farther and farther away. This is the end of part 1, and relapse prevention continues in part 2.